Okay, if you don't remember, if this is too long ago because it's a Ford question, I'll just change to a different one. So here's the question for you.
Okay.
Springtime at Ford is the time for annual file review.
Ugh.
How do you accomplish, or how did you accomplish annual file review?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, guess annual file review. The dreaded annual file review. Now, if you're a pack rat like me, that could be a problem because annual file review meant if it was anything, refresh my memory, Steve, if it was anything like older than a year, you were really, if it was paper, emails, gone. You didn't need to keep it unless it really had to do with a decision that was made that needed to be documented. So if you decided to cancel a project, why you decided to cancel it, you need to keep that for a while. Let's see what else. Decisions about, if there was an issue with a project and you had a meeting and a solution was agreed to, you had to keep that. Anything else you could get rid of. So people were getting rid of files, your file cabinets, they would shrink because you didn't really need to keep a whole lot of stuff. You didn't need to keep your emails. Being the pack rat that I am, I had a hard time because I would collect stuff through the years. So I would have to go through everything and make sure I didn't need it. But there was also the long-term storage. So we had things in, the EKB, knowledge base. You had to go through that every year. And if it was past a certain retention date, you had to get rid of it. So what we did was we would split that part up among the team members and we would all go through the EKB and get rid of that stuff. So that's how we did it. How I did it personally was painful, but we did it as a team and that made it easier for the long-term storage. Back to you, Madam Mr. Toastmaster, Table Topics Master.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Okay. Okay. Okay, here goes another spin. Okay, Shehu. Okay. Okay, Shehu. A number between 1 and 24.
24.
Okay. Living in the North as we do, we have significantly longer days in the summer than in the winter. Would you prefer to have all days with the same amount of day and night, or would you prefer it like we have, with long days in the summer and short days in the winter?
Mr. Table Topic Master, Madam, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster. The question is around which I prefer a long summer days or shorter winter time. For me, it does not really matter. It's just how I'm able to make use of the longer day and use it for my benefit, to be able to use it when I have a long day. I should be able to do more in that aspect, use that 1 hour that I have to either study, learn a new skills, or do something that I wanted to do when it was shorter time that I'm unable to do it, I had to go to sleep early because it's short. So I want to make use of that time to make sure that, for example, if I've been trying to study for a certification or new exam that I need to do, but because of the 1 hour that I had to go to sleep early because I have to wake up, I want to make use of that extra time I have to put that time to work so that I'll be able to accomplish my goal. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's just making use of that time to make sure that I achieve something with that period. Mr. Table Topic Master.
Okay, oh, good job, Shehu. I had, or have a friend from Kenya, and he had another friend from Kenya just come in, just from Kenya, and this surprised me because he's telling his friend, we have a great blessing here in this country. In the summer, it doesn't get dark until 9 o'clock. And the guy from Kenya says, really? Wow, that's like amazing. You know, I take it for granted. I never thought anything of it. So I was interested to see your reaction on that. Okay.
If I could just add to that story, I had the exact same reaction the first time I got to the US, and it was 9 o'clock, and I was walking to my apartment in grad school, and I was like, why is the sun not done? And then my friend was like, well, that's how it is here in summers. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. And then the best part was with daylight savings. There was this one time when we had to turn in some assignment, and that extra hour just came in at like the exact right time. And we were working, and it was like, oh shoot, we're not going to be able to do it. And then this friend walks in and says, guess what? We got an extra hour. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I answered the daylight savings for one reason. I was thinking about that. So I did the daylight saving instead of the sunlight.
Okay. Okay, we're ready here for the next spin. Okay, Tameka. Okay, Tameka, give me a number between 1 and 23.
I'll choose 7.
7. Okay, you're like me. That's what I always choose. Okay. During the winter, do you look forward to spring? During the winter, do you look forward to spring?
Table topic master. I would say I really look forward to the spring. I am not a winter person at all. But I will say that this year I try to approach winter in a different way because I dread winter so much. I tried this year, I made sure to occupy my time. I'm an outside person, but this year I made sure to get more involved in the wintertime. Usually I just sit in the house, watch TV, but this year I made sure that I stayed busy. So even though I found a way to not find a way to look forward to spring. I didn't want to just not enjoy winter. It's a season, but this year I got out and I got into different activities to stay busy. But me, I'm a summer person. I love spring. I always look forward to spring when it comes. I love being outdoors, riding my bike, running in the parks. I love the springtime. I really do dread winter, but this year, like I said, I decided to stay occupied and try to enjoy the season that I was in. So, but I do actually really do look forward to the springtime because that's my favorite time, one of my favorite times of the year.
That was a great job. And you have excellent eye contact over Zoom. It's just fantastic eye contact.
Thank you.
Okay, here goes the next spin here. Okay, Maha. Okay, Maha, a number between 1 and 23.
11.
11, okay. Well, this may not apply to you in your job, but if it does, we can always change it to another one. Okay, so here's the question. How would you like to spend the 4-day weekend that's coming up? How would you like to spend the 4-day weekend that is coming up?
Which 4-day weekend?
That's well, at 4, we get off Good Friday and Easter Monday.
Oh, okay. Dear Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters members, I was asked a question: if I had a 4-day weekend, how would I spend it? A vacation always sounds nice. However, I recently went on vacation, so that is out of the question right now for me. I have one principle I have in my life is I try not to waste time. I try to use my time very efficiently, and I try to fill it with as many activities as possible. I am not used to just sitting down and watching TV or just sitting down and having long conversations. I like to stay busy. I've just gotten used in my life to staying busy. So if I have a 4-day weekend, I have a lot of activities to do. That includes exercise. If you guys remember from before, I do have an interest in yoga, so I will be doing some yoga on this 4-day weekend, probably every day of that break. In addition to that, I run occasionally, so I'll have some running time. In addition, I will be catching up on a lot of reading. I have about 5-6 books stacked in my bedroom waiting for me to be opened and read. So I'll be hitting those books. In addition to that, I have several classes that I'm taking online. So I will be finishing up some assignments. So my 4-day weekend is going to be different from work, but it will be just a different type of staying busy. And that gives me meaning and it makes me feel accomplished. And some time for family as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent job. Okay, Nischal.
Oh boy. I take 10, Steve. Is 10 over?
Okay. Did you say a number, Nischal?
Yeah, 10.
10. Okay, good. Okay, this is just a little different than Tameka's question. Okay. During the spring, do you look forward to summer? During the spring, do you look forward to summer?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Seasons are a pretty interesting thing in my view. Coming from India, we practically have 2 seasons. It's either raining, not raining, that's it. And if it's not raining, it's just hot. And so when I came to the US and I realized that, you actually have pretty much 4 distinct seasons. I was like, wow, okay, so you can do things at a certain time of the year that you can't do at other times of the year, which was not something that I was pretty used to because I don't know how many of y'all know this game. It's called cricket. It's very similar to baseball in some sense. That's like the closest analogy I could draw. And I'm, growing up, you could just pick up your, bat and just go to the field and play at any point of time. So you couldn't do that here in the winter. You couldn't even get out, let alone take your bat and walk out. Back to the question of, do I look forward to the summer in spring? In some sense, yes, because it gives me a sense of home where it's warm and you're out and about. But spring is also really great. I think of it as a happy medium between winter, where I'm just coming off. I've picked up on skiing, so I'm pretty active in the winters. And I treat spring as a time that helps me transition to this mindset of, oh, okay, now I can start going out camping and hikes and things like that. So it's not that I have a preference between one or the other. It's just I treat both as for what they are, and how I could make the best use of my time during those seasons. So back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Okay, great job, Ms. Chow. Okay, Nagham.
Steve, is number 9 taken?
You can, when you say number 9, I just go to the next free one. So
Okay.
you've actually got number 12. Now this is well, you'll see the question. Okay. Daylight savings time saw its first widespread use in 1916 to conserve energy during World War I. Now it's used throughout the Northern Hemisphere except for China and India. Daylight savings time takes daylight hours away from the early morning and adds them to the evening. The question is, should daylight savings time be adopted year-round?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, I was asked a question if daylight savings time should be adopted year-round, or should it remain where it is? One of the benefits, other than being changed for back in the, I do not remember the year. One of the benefits that I know of is that it extends the daylight so that it falls within shopping times. So people could have more time and go out and do some shopping, which actually helps the economy, helps add back to the economy. Now, will that work if it's in the winter time? Well, if more hours are added to the daylight during winter, I don't know. It's a good theory. I think it's worth trying because of where everybody is now in terms of the economy. It's worth trying. However, there's a lot of things to consider. School hours, how does that affect? Being a principal, I have to think about school hours, first of all. Working parents, what is that going to do to their time? And how are they going to be able to commit to the new school hours and having to babysit or arrange babysitting possibly? There's a lot to consider. I do myself look forward to daylight savings time in the summer. I love that it changes in March and we get that extra daytime, because it's when I get off work, most of the time I leave and it's so dark out there. I come into the office and it's dark, I leave and it's dark, and it's just sometimes depressing. Leaving the office and seeing the light out there, it really actually brings a lot of joy to my heart. And I love having that daylight in there. And that's why I love it personally in spring. Do not know if it necessarily works in the winter. It's something to consider, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Okay, great job. Yeah, actually, schools is the impetus for the changing. The reason they still have it is because they didn't want the kids going to school in the dark in the morning. So that's what would happen. But a lot of kids are still going to school in the dark because they go real early. Okay, Glynis.
Right. I remember an instance when I was a child and it was daylight savings, and I went out to walk to school, and normally I didn't walk to school. It was pitch black. I actually almost went back in the house because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. But then I just walked to school, but I was scared to death.
So in India, the way it used to work was we don't have daylight savings there, and the sun usually sets around the same time, not at 9 p.m. in the night, right? So our indicator of when we had to get back home from playing, so me and all of my friends, we go to the field to play, is when sundown. So if you show up to your house after sundown, it's not good. Good things don't come about. You better get home before the sun goes down, or you're not going to hear the end of it from your mom. Yeah. And so it was pretty weird when we got to the US and the sun goes down at 9. I was like, so do all the kids get to go back home at like 9 o'clock after playing? Then that was just the thing I was telling my mom. I mean, my mom was asking me rather. So.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Nischal.
Sure.
Okay. Glynis, did you give me a number?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. Spring is often a time to clean up and throw away junk, hence the term spring cleaning. Which do you enjoy more, buying things or throwing things away? Which do you enjoy more, buying things or throwing things away?
Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow credible communicators, I've been asked the question, which do you enjoy, buying things or throwing things away? Naturally, I love buying things. I actually used to consider myself kind of a shopaholic. Or I would shop if I was feeling down, a little depressed. That was my therapy. So I was known for shopping, even if it just meant going to buy a pair of earrings. Sometimes I would go in the evening to buy a new outfit for work the next day. I used to work at a bank, so I used to have to dress up. So I would just get a lot of pleasure out of that. However, as I've gotten older, working from home, I don't need to buy as much. My closet is full of stuff that I'm not even wearing right now. I wish it gave me pleasure to give things away, because throwing them away, I can't do that. So I have to pack them up and donate them somewhere. It doesn't give me pleasure. I still like buying things. I just know I can't do that as much anymore. But I'm working on being able to stop buying as much so that I don't have to get rid of as much. But I'm in that stage right now where I gotta develop a liking for clearing things out and giving them away. Maybe I can think of it as helping someone else out by donating them. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Okay, great job.
So is that a woman thing? I spoke to someone that said she had 250 pairs of shoes.
Oh, wow.
250.
Wow.
I said,
I
wow.
do have 100 pair, but I'm not that bad. But yeah, I got a lot of shoes. I don't think it's an every woman thing. You can't generalize. It's just some women.
So weirdly enough, the other day I was having a conversation with a friend, and he mentioned this idea to me. It was about minimalism and how do you sort of train your mind to think about it. And he said every month you get to pick 22 things. I think that's the number that he said. And you're only allowed to use those 22 things for that entire month. And you can pick whatever you want. It can be utensils, it can be clothes, different things. And by the end of the month, that's supposed to help you realize how many other things that you've got that you don't really need, and you can still live without. And I was like, 22 seems like a little too less. Maybe should up that number a little and then we'll be good. So, but yeah, it's just a thought. I was thinking maybe at some point I'll give it a shot.
Might work. I find now that the only shoes I wear are running shoes, cross trainers. That's pretty much it. I don't wear shoes in the house.
Right.
100 pairs of shoes just kind of sit in the closet.
I use my snow boots a lot this year.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
That includes boots, though, by the way.
Hey, Mr. Toastmaster.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. So, I have this written down, my bad. I'll hand it over to our general evaluator, Nagham, now for the evaluation part of our meeting. Over to Nagham.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'd like to start our evaluation with Maha, who will be evaluating Glynis' speech.
Okay, I have 3 minutes for evaluation. Okay.
2 to 3.
Okay. Glynis, I think you did an excellent job. This was truly an excellent speech, and you are a professional speaker. First of all, your introduction, I loved how you had a personal story that tied to the rest of the body of the speech. So you made a connection to your personal life from the beginning, and that grabbed our attention. When you discussed your story about how initially you saw the comment leader, and then that turned into a follower, and I felt that you had maybe you were sensitive to that change, or you were sentient to what happened. But very well transition from an introduction to the body of your speech. And the other thing that you did in the body of your speech, when you spoke about the 8 different leadership styles, I thought it was an excellent tactic how you again went into your personal leadership scores and how you went through each one rather than listing them and what each one is. You actually tied it personally, so it was very easy to follow. My attention span was not lost. I was there with you because you were tying everything together. So I thought that was an excellent tactic. And your conclusion was, you wrap things up. You gave us what actually makes a true leader after you've discussed the 8 different types of leadership. The only thing that I would probably rearrange, but it was fine the way you said it. The only thing that I would rearrange was when you mentioned your personal opinion before the 8 types of leadership about that at the end of the day, it's your personality that determines your leadership style. I probably would have kept that till the end before the conclusion. But otherwise, excellent flow, professional speaker by no doubt. I want to go through the form that you sent me, everything on that form in terms of eye contact, hand gestures, vocal variety. You included many aspects of that. Overall, I felt the speech was very inclusive. You were not judging one leadership style to be better than another. So I really liked how that flowed, but excellent job.
Thank you, Maha. And it made sense, the comment about putting it to the end. That makes sense.
Thank you, Maha. And now I'd like to hand it over to Shehu, our ad counter for the ad counts.
Thank you for Glynis, for your speech, Glynis. I just for 2 and